Minnesota Fighting Vikings made a couple of moves at the 53-man rooster deadline, as well as made some moves on the practice squad. GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, head coach Kevin O'Connell, they fed the local media jackals on Thursday. Want to go over some of the Q's and some of the A's because there's a lot of ground to cover. Arif, Adofo-Mensah, last few days have been hard. Says it starts during the draft when you get to start someone's NFL dream, and then months later in an office delaying them. He never wants it to get any easier because it means he's lost respect for the players and all they do. And also, if you've seen the video where Kevin O'Connell, when he was a player with the Jets, gets cut by Mike Tannenbaum, that's rough. Where Tannenbaum's basically, he doesn't let him sit down. He just says, "Hey, we're cutting you. We thought that you were going to beat out Kellen Clemens." No, who's the quarterback from? Doesn't matter. But just the way not to do it, right? So they are humans. It is a business, but there are ways. Don't want to say sugarcoat it, but there are empathetic ways to let a guy know that, hey, his dream is hitting a bump in the road, hitting a little pothole. Will Raggett, Sports Illustrated. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. Jalen is somebody who has a really great skill set individually, but also how he competes that complements that wide receiver room and our team offensively. And Rieger does have that fantastic speed. He is going to be in the running to return punts. So I think that overall, it sucks to lose ISM. I would have liked to keep ISM and Jalen, but I mean, the two Jalen and Jalen. It'll be good. Thomason, Pioneer Press. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah called it a good opportunity to add Ross Blacklock in a trade from the Houston Texans, former second-round pick coming out of TCU. It's very TCU-y. Horned Frogs. That's right, baby. Said it was a hard conversation with Armand Watts to let him go, but didn't offer specifics. So part of it was Armand was better suited for the 4-3. I think that he would have done fine as a starting 5 tech. Also, his base salary is $2.54 million and change, so it was a salary cap thing as well. And I actually don't know if you can negotiate a pay cut with a player on his rookie deal. I don't know if you can do that. So it didn't work out either way, and he was put on waivers and claimed by the crooked Chicago Bears, who also claimed Smith-Marsette. So it kind of sucks. Thompson. Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell said Vikings wanted fair and open opportunity in competition between Kellen Mond and Sean Mannion. Said Kellen improved tremendously. He said Kellen has all the things that you look for in an NFL quarterback, but it wasn't fair to him to be number 2. And he was right. Kellen Mond was not ready to. Kellen Clemens, that's the name of the quarterback. Kellen Mond was not he was not ready to be the guy who's one play away, and he just didn't grab that brass ring. Sean Mannion, we know, isn't that guy either, and hopefully Nick Mullins can be that dude. He's been that dude throughout his career, so I understand it. And I get why they gambled trying to get Kellen Mond onto the practice squad. I think if the Browns, so the Browns and the Eagles each put a waiver claim in on Mond. I think if he would have got through waivers, I think that he would have been on the practice squad. But what's interesting is we mentioned this in the previous video where Kwesi was in Cleveland for the last 2 years, and they obviously did work on Kellen Mond. Andrew Berry, who was the mentor for Kwesi, claims Kellen Mond, and Kwesi obviously had some affinity for Kellen Mond because they kept him here after the regime change with Spielman. So let's see what else here. Ekstrom. KOC says he told Mond and Mannion that one of them would have to win the backup job, not simply beat out the other person. So you're not going to win by default in a mid-off. Both quarterbacks got almost equal reps throughout training camp, but neither were able to do that in the coach's eyes. And that's fair. It's a fair assessment where I think that both of them had their highs and both of them had a lot of their lows. And Mond being younger, more time where it's going to be a mama I can change him. Mannion's approaching 30. He actually might be 30 on the nose. So it is what it is. Extra. KOC says Ross Blacklock will have a role, but he says they'll be looking to the rest of the room to fill Armand Watts' job. He mentions Jonathan Bullard by name as a possible replacement, and I do think that Bullard is going to start. I think you're going to see some Usezi in there. I think you're going to see some James Lynch and Blacklock, because the Vikings aren't strictly going to play an odd front. Like, they're just not going to have a 3-man line all the time. Like, they're going to have a 4-man line, especially on third down, because they've run throughout preseason with the ones, the twos, and threes, a 2-4-5 nickel where you have 2 down linemen and then you have 4 linebackers, where it's really 2 stand-up edge rushers. You have 2 inside linebackers, and then you got 5 DBs. So I think there's going to be a lot of room for Ross Blacklock, especially on passing downs, to get in as a 3-tech and go out and get the passer. Norman Seawright III, CBS, Minnesota. WCC. Both men, Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi, said they're excited about the current rooster. Kwesi on getting Jalen Reagor. Really great skill set, and noted the value proposition met what they needed. Getting rid of Amir Smith-Marsette was a too little space problem. Now, they could have cut Jalen Naylor, and I think that he would have gotten through waivers. They could have cut Oli Udoh, and he would have got through waivers, but, ISM just trots straight to the Bears, just like we predicted. Ain't no guess. It's what it's going to be. Thomason, go. Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell said it was a hard conversation Vikings had with Jesse Davis. And Davis, that one really was more of a numbers game where the Vikings, they actually kept 10 offensive linemen. Jesse Davis was not going to be 11. And they decided to keep Oli Udoh. They decided to keep Austin Schlutman. They decided to keep Chris Reed. So in terms of the the backup interior guys, I mean Schlutman and Reed, they're going to be good to go there. And Ed Ingram is obviously going to start. So the Vikings were able to get Jesse Davis's salary and his roster bonus off the books. So that's saved them beep up with boop $1.45 million. They got a 7th round pick in like 2,972. Will Raggett's Kevin O'Connell on if Jalen Reagor will be the Vikings punt returner. We're going to give him every opportunity to do that. Jalen's really excited about that opportunity, and I do think it will be Reagor and Jalen Naylor, the 2 Jalens, just going after trying to return punts, as Jalen Naylor is still on the 53-man roster. Thomason. Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell said that Kirk Cousins received a lot of votes to be captain. Well, I would hope so, from his teammates. O'Connell said the captains of the team will be announced soon. And the Vikings had like 8 captains last year. Right now, off the top of my head, I think it's going to be Kirk. I think it's going to be Dalvin. I think it's going to be Thielen. I think it's going to be O'Neal. I think it's going to be maybe Dalvin Tomlinson. Dalvin Tomlinson was captain with the Giants. It's going to be, I'm going to say Kendricks finally wears the captain C, even though he's the leader. You don't need a C to be the leader, and you're not a leader just because you wear the C. Also, Zadarius, obviously, P squared, and Harrison Smith. So they'll have 8 freaking captains again. Go ahead, man. And that's it. That's a look at the press conference. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell. Vikings made a lot of moves, making a lot of splashes, so hopefully they will get things done. But let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.